edition of Freeworld Heads Up on Monday the 31st of October, Halloween. Anything scary happening this time of the currency?
No, we've had quite a quiet sort of week. There's maybe slightly firmer tone on the euro. It came through, the start of last week we hit about 108.50 and it's moved up at one point quite close to 110. It's at the moment 109.50. Sterling has been pretty steady, I'd say. It's sort of between 21 and 23. There again, flopping around with any kind of political comment. But we're now coming up to, we've had some euro inflation figures this morning. They were exactly as expected, no excitement. Tomorrow we've got some German unemployment figures, growth figures, and then it starts hotting up on Wednesday. We've got the Fed interest rate decision. Now this has been a big mover recently, and then on Thursday we've got the Bank of England interest rate decision, QE, and also the inflation report for Britain. That would be quite an important one. There have been some rumours about whether Mark Carney is going to stay the full distance. Looks like he is from the papers this morning. And then on Friday we have the infamous non-farm payroll, which is always a big mover. So,
Sure.
And of course the backdrop is the American election,
Which is a week tomorrow, I believe.
Is it?
Yeah,
okay,
8th
right.
of
Okay.
November, I believe, is the
Okay.
date. Polls have narrowed a little bit.
That's right. Yeah, it looks very uncomfortably like the Brexit polls to me. But
Yes.
there you go.
Yes, a haunting reminder.
Yeah. Well, last week we were discussing demand and how that's doing in the face of some pretty bullish supply side figures. And we had Cial, and we did say that Cial would be sort of an assessment of that demand. What do you think?
So, obviously, Cial was a week and a half ago, 2 weeks ago now. And we're seeing still the same kind of thing. Not much fizz, not much demand, not a huge amount coming out of that show in terms of what customers are looking for. So, one thing we were talking about was pumpkin, and that looks to be a real kind of miss there on the demand side of things. Of course, pumpkin has kind of on-off seasons that we see. Kind of when there's high pricing, more gets planted, so of course the following season prices come down.
Right.
So we're at a high crop year with very little demand at the moment, so we're seeing falling pumpkin prices. Same kind of follows for sesame. We're seeing very weak pricing on sesame seeds as well at the moment, just no demand there, or in the levels that anyone was kind of expecting to see. And I think we're kind of seeing some of the things in nuts as well.
And when you get that kind of situation, things come down a little bit. It depends on how desperate people are. We have that in exactly that in almonds, where Cial, was at a point when we had the September shipment figures, which were 40% up, so massive. Prices went up 15, maybe 20 cents on that news. But nobody was feeling hungry at Cial, and just over the last few days, the almond market's actually fallen back, maybe 15 cents or so, 10 to 15 cents, and again, this will be led more by the secondary market than the primary market.
Right.
But here we have the sort of supply side fundamental is a really firm, huge shipment figures. We're expecting another shipment figure. We will have another shipment figure. That'll be the October figures in November. And our friends over there who spend a lot of time thinking about this are in fact there, so you can see the traffic going to the port. They reckon that'd be 25% year on year up. So there's a lot of the almond crop being sold, yet the price comes down because the buyers aren't buying. So there's a lot of factors here, but I think when you look at, say, the price of almonds, as compared to any of the quality nuts. They represent extremely good value.
Oh, definitely. Yeah.
The problem is the way the pricing works through to the supermarkets. Maybe contributes to this kind of year on and year off price movement, oversteering, because right now a lot of almond pricing will be based on very high numbers from there's never going to rain again in California type years. Next year we'll see the cheap price of almonds go through to the shelves, and we should see considerable more offtake of almonds. Similarly, and in inverse kind of way, is cashew, which is at record highs really, 460, 470, 480, 490, and maybe that too will teeter, because people are now going to the supermarkets for next year's tenders, and they'll be looking at, with the currency, maybe like 25% for the currency and maybe 30% for the commodity, some very, very high prices, and supermarkets are going to talk about delisting. So that's how we get this kind of on-off year pattern, which seems to be getting worse really as more and more of the sales are slowly through the supermarkets. So demand maybe not quite putting on her party dress at the moment.
Well, on that unfortunate note, happy Halloween, and we'll speak to you later. Thank you.
Okay.